Okay, so we leash. You may as well use Q while you're leashing. No point holding on to that. You're gonna regen the vast majority of the mana on your way to lane anyway. And if you get into a fight early lane, like it's gonna be up anyway, but even if it were down, like it's not gonna be a huge impact. You may as well just use that to help your jungler. Nice focus on the misfortune there, ignoring the thresh entirely. I see you've watched my Focus the ADC video. Some little bit of poke on thresh there, then you back off. Good shit. Do we hit level 2? Brawl wants to engage here. Alright, that was pretty end from thresh. Yeah, you played that really well. Obviously, now you want to shove this out. Take misfortune. Well, you want to back with all your gold if you don't want to dive misfortune. Diving misfortune could be an option, but your jungler's top side. Enemies, I don't think they leashed, though. You should expect Viego to be around bot side here, so pretty risky dive, but at the same time, yeah, misfortune can't really do much to survive it. So well played. Now you want to run though. Yeah, going into Thresh here might be it might work out for you, but it is kind of greedy. As far as I know, Viego should be bot side. Let me check. Oh, he's actually top side. Did they not leash then? Oh, maybe they. I guess they did leash then. Maybe I didn't notice that. All right, well in that case, yeah, this is all good. Yeah, after all that is done, may as well just shove another wave. You can also grab that plating. Did that go down or not? Can't tell. Yeah, it did. Okay. You want to finish shoving this out, and that's when you want to back. If you didn't have the mana to shove an extra wave, then what you should have done was just grab the plating and not touch the wave at all under turret. But now it's kind of awkward because you wanted to shove that out, but you did it quite slowly, so you're gonna miss some farm potentially. You also don't have to walk all the way back over here in order to back. You can just like back in a brush here. If not here, then maybe here. Maybe here's too greedy. But Amumu isn't in the lane. He's not going to be canceling your back, and Misfortune wants to farm all these minions under turrets, so you don't need to go all the way back here. You know, the closer, or the less time you spend walking in order to back, the faster you will back, and the less CS you will end up missing. Okay, so I see you're doing lethality, Xayah. 1098, thank you so much for the prime sub, man. Appreciate that. Okay, so now just gonna want to farm this. If they grief there and tried to go aggressive there, you could have gone for the gank with Kha'Zix, but not gonna happen. Okay, great. I'm not sure the flash was really necessary there. Let me just check that again. Hang on. Yeah, so I mean, I can see why you're going for the flash there. However, another thing to point out is you can already see that Rel here is going for the Misfortune. Even before she does this dash, you can see like based on her like her trajectory is like completely ignoring Thresh, just Hexa flashing here, then walking towards here. So you can already tell we're going to be engaging onto Misfortune here. So here, you were like here, and then you started pathing towards here. You need to be pathing already towards here. But even after that, you know, after you've made the slight fuck up where you're not positioned exactly where you should be, you were already actually quite close to Misfortune because of that knockback, which apparently Roll has. I didn't even know that. And then I guess I get that you want to go for the root here. However, I don't think that's even necessary. Like, you do so much damage to Misfortune there, like just over your base damages. And if you don't quite finish off without flashing, then you can flash afterwards. But you can definitely kill her without ever getting a root there. Because you just have so much burst. Two of you. That ends up in a kill, which is pretty good. But definitely if you had positioned properly from the start, reacting to the rel engage with your own positioning, Definitely would never even have to consider using flash, and even with that mistake, I don't think the flash was entirely necessary. You do coaching before? Yep, I do. Alright, so... yeah, again, walking all that far back, not really necessary. Even with the support in the lane at this MMR, you don't gotta worry about that kind of shit. So you choose to go for this plating. I wouldn't even go for this plating in this kind of situation, because... Unless you're gonna shove out this next wave too. Because probably what's gonna happen now, if Misfortune just shoves out this wave as fast as possible, and then she just instantly shoves out this next wave, you're just gonna miss out on an extra wave. Or getting that plating. It might result still in an outcome where you get more gold overall. But you're gonna miss out on a lot of XP for this. I don't think it's worth it overall. Now lethality Xayah is a thing. Potentially, yeah. Has been for a while though. So don't go lethality instantly lose the game? Nah, I was playing a lot of lethality Xayah lately. It's pretty decent actually. Better than you'd think. Nice root there. Because at this point, I would just start freezing. There's no point to start shoving when the enemy bot lane is this behind and also Thresh is half HP. At this point, if you just start freezing, there's no way Misfortune can get any farm at all. So their wave was pushing towards yours, towards you because they hadn't properly crashed it. They didn't crash it in time after you backed. So that was the perfect setup for a freeze, but you just cleared out the wave entirely. If you should definitely be looking to collapse here. You can see that Yasuo is just like in a perfect position to get collapsed on here. I think you definitely should have followed up on that instead of going into lane. You don't necessarily lose this 1v2 even because you're just so ahead right now, but you may as well just like move into the river and see what you can do there. And definitely now, again, even if you can't freeze here, you should at least look to slow push. You don't want to shove this under turret because the Ral can't really do anything under turret unless you can dive. Like if your jungler is on the way, or if you're like in voice comms with your jungler and you're telling, hey, they're diveable, come dive, then sure, okay. Crashing into the turret is fine to create the dive opportunity. But without the dive, there's just no point in shoving. You can just create a slow push and have as big a crash as possible and make sure Misfortune is missing as many last hits as possible. You don't need to be here, just to clear out that pink. You can just stay in lane there while sitting. It's fine to hover around, like, towards that side in case a fight is, like, about to break out, in case there's, like, somebody by any chance just camping that brush. But, you definitely don't need to be there. Like, all the way in that brush with your team. You also should have finished shoving out this wave before helping with the Drake. And I mean, realistically, the Drake is already going to be dead before, as you finish shoving this wave anyway. That just goes to show like how little your team actually really needed your help there. Nobody, as far as you can see, was contesting. So you just basically gave up a wave for nothing there. I also wouldn't have really backed there, because you didn't really shove out that previous wave fast enough. At this point, if they shove this fast enough, which they should, Thresh is not really helping Misfortune, so maybe they won't shove it fast enough. But if they were to shove it fast enough, you would miss out on this entire wave. Whereas if you wait until a wave where you're like perfectly in position to already start shoving immediately and shove it out as fast as possible using all your abilities, and then just immediately recall, like as close to the wave as possible, then you're not going to miss out on the next wave, because you're just going to get that back off so fast. You missed out on an entire wave there. Okay, here shoving is fine because I'm assuming the Misfortune probably wants to back Since you just backed and she just finished shoving out a wave, would make sense to back there. However, it seems she won't. But at this point, you have to finish the crash anyway. Well, actually, if they're just gonna... At this point, I would just wait and see if they're just gonna make the start pushing towards you again. Because if they do, then you can just start freezing. It looks like they won't, though. So, yeah, at this point, you're just gonna be in a really awkward spot. If the enemy jungler wanted to gank you, you'd be really unsafe here. Which is why if your options there were basically either to crash it immediately to make sure this doesn't happen, or potentially they just fuck themselves over and create that freeze situation for you. But that didn't happen, so best thing would have been if you just crashed it. Here, like, as you can see, I mean, Rel does not do much if you're under turret. Rel, as a champion, just does not exist while the enemies are under turret. Unless you're gonna dive, she just doesn't do anything. John at least can poke with W, same for Nami. Okay. This is gonna be a free kill. Yeah, at this point you can shove, because now Misfortune is all alone. You do see Viego on the map. However, he is bot side, so you know he could try and walk up here, but you have a lot of vision, so if you want to dive here, yeah, gonna be perfectly free again. Viego just didn't react in time to the fact that his Bullen was potentially about to get dived, so just to go for that, knowing that you're gonna be safe. Then yeah, again, you want to shove out this next wave. At this point though, like, getting this plating is gonna take up a lot of time. If you go for this plating, you're gonna have to shove the next wave as well. Now at this point, you're missing out on a lot of vision. And realistically, I mean, it's like 12 minutes into the game. If you want to get the next plating later on, you can easily do that. You don't need to get it right now. That was the perfect timing to back as soon as you finish shoving that wave. So now, if you wanted to... I mean, you should clearly be backing because you got like 1500 gold. That's a serrated Dirk and a longsword. There's no reason not to back here, right? But right now, you have not even started shoving, even though the wave has already gone into the middle and they already like started attacking each other, right? If you already know that you want to shove one wave and back, because you didn't immediately back when you could have, you like stuck around, hit the turret a bit. So you already know you want to back here. So as soon as the wave is like popping up here into vision, that's when you already want to start shoving. I mean, okay, I get it. Rel wanted to place a ward, fair enough, but then you get into lane and you just start immediately hitting the wave. The longer you wait, the more minions you are going to miss later on in the next wave. Right now, again, like, you're not using your abilities. Now Misfortune is in lane, so it's really awkward. And all this time, you could have already been in base, because you could have just backed instead of hitting that turret, right? Now you're waiting around for a good opportunity to actually shove this in, which should be like, you should be like walking up here. And just making this wave go all the way under turret. And then you just sit around here, outside of hook range. And you just wait for this wave to show up. And you should already be hitting the wave, like, right about here. You know? If this wave walks all the way into the middle of the wave before you even start hitting it, it's just going to take you forever to shove it in. And now it's not completely lined up for your Q either, Q and D. Yeah, now Viego's ganked. Oof. Don't know what the hell you were doing there. But see, all this happened because you didn't just back when you had a perfectly fine chance. Now you're like stuck in a spot where if you do want to back, you have to miss a wave for it. Unless you get a clean shove off, which you're not really even trying to do either. But, you know, there is some risk in trying to get that clean shove as well. Because, I mean, you don't have an amazing... Well, actually, now you do have a lot of vision. But before, the map was a little bit dark. And, like, you have to start shoving the wave right about here. So, potentially, Thresh could, like, try and flash on you. Flash play you. Lantern the Viego in, you know. So, like, the back at that point is not guaranteed. But if you just backed instead of hitting that turret, that back was guaranteed. And you already had a lot of gold to spend. Now there's going to be a fight, and you haven't spent your gold. You're really fed, but you're not using all of your gold. And this is going to be a one fight anyway, so you're not going to get punished for that, but that you shouldn't take that as a sign that, yeah, okay, so this is really good. Played this whole sequence of events really nice. Now, right now you should have been way stronger for this fight. This game you'll win the fight anyway, but a lot of games you're just going to lose the fight because you didn't spend your gold when you could have. Yeah, I mean, at this point now you can just finish off the turret. I would not go for the next wave, just because, I mean, it might be safe, I guess. Misfortune only just spawned, but, you know, it's a dark map. Maybe, like, Viego and... Okay, no, Yasuo apparently, because he stopped. Maybe Viego and somebody else just start to try and collapse on you right now. You get all this gold unspent, so you don't want to fight. Definitely just want it back immediately, and you're gonna do that, so good shit. Okay, so at this point, up and support. Yeah, so Lux isn't on comms with you, but ideally you would want to swap the mid right now. I mean, Lux isn't really the kind of champion that really wants to do that anyway, so I guess it's fine to go bot here. And definitely before you do that, there seems to be a fight in the river, so fine to move to that. But now you want to go grab that bot wave if nobody else is going to get it. And you should already be there. You're going to miss a lot of farm here for no reason, because you started pathing towards mid first. Ideally, you want to be group mid as much as possible as the ADC, but you don't want to share farm with your solo laner, and you don't want to, like, side lane waves to be going to waste. So you're pre-mid with your support, which is great, because it means that anytime you want to farm a side wave, you're pretty much always going to be safe while doing it, because you always can just tell your support, hey, come with me to farm the side wave, and it ensures that no solo laners just going to be able to, like, camp in a brush and just 1v1 you while you're trying to catch those waves. Right now as well, it's fine to go shove this wave, but because you're on comms with Rel, you should be able to tell her, hey, just help me shove out this next wave. You don't want to get caught out here by a jungler or whoever. And this is definitely just overstaying at this point. You've already taken your tier 1 turret. Tier 2 turret is pretty unrealistic to take at this stage without all the backup of all of your team. It's just way too risky to be pushed up here. So after you finish shoving out the next wave, which was fine, you just wanted to immediately rotate towards mid, and that is an easy turret to take. You don't need to be bot again until this wave has been crashed in. So that's exactly why it's so good to shove it in like as far as you did, because then it takes them so much time. They have to wait for the next wave to show up. They need to shove that. They need to shove another wave. It takes forever for this wave to actually get to any point where you need to rotate bot and grab that wave. So it gives you plenty of time to rotate the mid and get this turret. What happened here? Okay, so you left here, went to the try. Seems your team wants to set up a gank or collapse of some sorts, which is fine. Yeah, I'll just ignore Misfortune there. Killing her is not going to be too realistic, so go to the people that are easy kills. Well played. Alright, so yeah, at this point, probably... I mean, you can't... since Illaoi isn't going to be grabbing this wave, I would just go for this wave first. Like, you're letting, like, 4 or 5 minions, whatever it was here, just die. There's even a cannon here, so you could have just walked all the way over there. It delays you shoving in this next wave, sure, but at least you're getting more farm. At this point, you should also just stick around for the extra wave. You know you're pretty safe doing it. But again, you want the Rel usually with you during these shoves. So there's, like, no chance for the enemies to just pick you off. Yeah, this is free. How much gold do you have right now? After this, I would just look to back again. But definitely, you should be focusing a lot harder on just shoving this as fast as possible. Did I just say TP there? Nah, I guess not. Yeah, if you're going to be shoving and then backing, you want to do that as fast as possible. There's pretty much going to be 0 chance of killing Misfortune there unless she just completely runs it the fuck down because she's under turret. You just want to back. Is he going for red there? Sure, you have a lot of vision, you know it's safe. Fair enough. You can do that before you back. But at this point, like, after the red, you don't go mid, you don't go bot. At this point, you have all the time in the world to just back. Going for Viego is pretty risky, but, I mean, you are pretty ahead. See how this works out. Okay, works out pretty well for you. Yeah, you have to run right into it, Yasuo. Yeah, I mean, it was nice in the sense that you could just easily win that 1v1 against Viego, but again, like, you're sitting on so much gold. Go ahead and just back and spend it. Also, at this point, your bowling turret has been down for, like, what, 2 to 3 minutes? What have you done since then? You shoved in a few waves. You got a couple of kills. But no mid lane turret, no herald, no drakes. You're not doing anything to actually accelerate this game. Like, this mid lane turret was like 20% HP literally since you took down your turret. This should have been down ages ago. So yeah, basically ever since you took the turret, you've been doing nothing except just like farming and fishing for like desperate kills, which aren't really gonna happen. Yeah, at this point, yeah, I mean, don't know why your team is fighting here. Doesn't really make sense. What you want to do is just what you're doing. Finish shoving out the mid wave, then you should, I guess you should rotate top to group with your team. But what your team should really be doing is just being mid, and then they can rotate top. No point A-ramming on top lane. But definitely... Yeah, I mean, you don't have much of a wave to push with here. There's no point going here. You can see there's a fight going on top lane. You can easily go top here. You don't want to like give up mid farm for it, but definitely once you farm that, there's no drawback to just going top here. Especially because they're so low, even if they were to just back off and not fight, either they give up this turret, or you dive them. They're just going to kill themselves anyway, so that's not an issue. But, you know, now you should just be top and securing that turret for your team. Here, sure, you're getting some farm, which is nice, but again, you're not like accelerating the game, you're not maximizing the gains. I don't know about going into their jungle for that. Yeah. You don't really have enough vision to be doing that. Also, yeah, you definitely wanted to path more to the right, not into the honey fruits there, so you don't get caught by the hook. That was avoidable. Alright, so respawn now. At this point, I would just go bot. Nobody's going bot, and nobody is anywhere near to go bot. You can see there's a wave here already, and there's gonna be another wave coming in. You're probably not gonna get that cannon, but you can shove this out, or grab this wave, grab this next wave that's coming in as well. Then you can probably shove in the next wave as well. And at that point, then you can rotate mid and just see what you can do there. And if there's some like random ass fight going on over on this side of the map, you just go ahead and take this turret. You don't need to be going mid here when there's a perfectly good bot wave there. That's completely uncontested. You don't have to fight Yasuo for it. You don't need to fight Teemo for it. There's just nobody bot. It's just a free farm. Let me slow this down. You can just shove that out and then you rotate. Alright, cool. Yeah, so basically what you were doing wrong earlier is that what you did right earlier basically was you properly like shoved out this entire ball lane wave and you shoved it all the way into the turret, which is good. If you can do that safely, knowing you can't get collapsed on, that's really good. But what you did wrong was you just stuck around after doing that. You could have rotated mid, you could have even swapped the top or something, but you just stayed bot and kept shoving in the waves, even though there's nothing to accomplish left here anymore. So, and then here, when you can actually just do the same, you can just shove this in all the way up to here, and then you can, if there's a fight going on the other side of the map and you can't join that in time, then you can stay here and keep like dealing damage to this turret, shoving in more waves. But if that's not happening and there's time for you to rotate with your rotate and group with your team, because there's potentially a fight going to happen like in the next 30 seconds or so, then you can rotate. But instead you didn't do that. And the one time you did like go bot when you were meant to, you just stuck around for too long, not really doing anything. And again, even if your team was like potentially gonna get into a fight and within the next 30 seconds when you were considering going for this bot wave, that's just fine, because you can't really control that. You should ping them off for sure and say, hey, I'm gonna grab bot wave. And if they fight, then it's whatever. At least you're getting a massive amount of farm on bot lane, but potentially even a turret if that goes on for long enough. So you're at least getting something back for it, right? It's fine to not be grouped with your team at all times if you're getting something for it, like something big, which is like guaranteed 3 waves. That is pretty big. And potentially also turret if your team is fighting at that point. But the best case scenario is there's no fight that happens within those next 30 seconds. So you grab 3 waves and then you rotate and group with your team mid or top. And you didn't lose anything for it, you know? And if you did lose anything for it, then probably that just means you also get a turret, which is like even more. Getting even more done for that. Back to you, to when you said I should have gone top. I would be there to help, but would that accelerate the game to closing out? Yes, for sure. Because if you grab, you know, the correct move is to just go mid as you did and grab all that farm, shove it in. Which it's the same concept as with the bot lane thing. You grab all that mid farm, shove it in, shove in the next wave if it was coming up like very soon. But then instead of like trying to like push that wave with just 2 minions or like trying to like harass Yasuo or whoever that was, if you go top and help your team ace them or help your team dive them and then you grab that turret, then that just puts you one step closer to getting the next turret as well, right? Which has already gone down. And that puts your team one step closer to being able to rotate back to mid and grab the next turret or go for the Drake. But if your team is just A-ramming on top lane and you're just like chilling mid, not doing much, just shoving in waves, well, they're A-ramming on... It's not good for them to A-ram on top lane, but they're going to keep doing it for, like indefinitely until something gets accomplished, right? It's not that you should like just join your team in A-ramming. That's why you go mid first and shove all that stuff out first. But once you've shoved this in, you have that window to rotate top where you're not missing out on farm on mid lane. Because now there's so much time for you to go top, and this has to get shoved all the way into here before anybody has to go back mid and collect that, you know? And going top, would I go behind them as a squish or just join team? Usually you would want to go like, you know, through the river, or if you want to be extra safe, like through here, in case you're scared of any assassins. But at the time that I pointed it out, they were so low that it was easily like dive potential. But it didn't even end up mattering because they just, instead of like having to dive them, they literally just walked up and died. So you weren't even really needed there anyway. But it's like, you know, the fundamental, like in terms of like fundamentals, that is what you want to do in those kind of situations. You shove on mid, then you go to help your team top. Even if in that particular situation, they did fine without you. Alright, so here, yep, correctly, you go shove out the mid wave, you need your farm. And then, don't know what's going on here, but it looks like something might be going on, right? Now you definitely want to be rotating bot. Now, potting here? Nope. Doesn't make sense. Why? Potentially there's going to be a fight here. Potentially can't even influence it, but you should be in the area just in case their team is going to overextend or overchase or something. You might get this turret, but it's also kind of a scary thing to do here because you don't have vision like almost anywhere here. Okay, you will get away with that though, but I mean, there's a whole bunch of scary like just dark map here where you just don't know where the enemies are. You have no idea where almost anybody is. Yeah, here comes the Thresh flank. We're not gonna lead to anything. They get away with that, but definitely what you should have done is just shove in that mid wave and then just start hovering over here, see if there's anything you can do. And if you can't, then you go back here with Rel, you ward here, get some vision there, and then you check if the Raptors are up. And if they're up, you go ahead and steal that. It's probably gonna be safe. Because the only way they could catch you if you have vision here is like just jumping right out of this brush, and you can just walk away at that point. And you just rotate back mid and grab that next wave that shows up. Again, here, sure, Lux is grabbing that wave, but there's no reason to just let her take that. You can definitely take that farm as well. Because right now, there's no point going to a side lane. Not the greatest flash since Yasuo was just dashing in that direction anyway. Alright, so yep, first thing you do here is just go mid, grab that farm. Then you can probably look for the next wave too, or at least if nobody on the enemy team is going to be there. I mean, there is a Thresh, but yeah, you can already just be in position. Nah, never mind, there's a Yasuo, so at that point you would have to back off anyway. Yeah, so at this point they have prio over mid lane, so you're just waiting for this wave to crash in. If you did know for a fact that you didn't want to walk up and farm that anyway because the enemy team had prio, what you could have done in the meantime is you farm wolves or raptors, just keep up your CS per minute. Like, we're at the stage of the game where Kha'Zix is not just full clearing the jungle anyway. He can't just afford to, like, walk across the map full clearing, because everybody needs to be kind of grouped. So if you just take one camp, it doesn't affect them. Kinda risky, but I like it. You should always lead these combos with your W. You activate your W, you auto attack once, then you Q. And hopefully that's enough for a root. If you use your E after that, then you just keep chasing them down with your W. There's no point going for these like aggressive moves and not using your W. You always want to lead that, you know, the root combo with an auto attack, which is going to proc your feathers. You had no feathers available there. And even if you did, it's still there. You may as well just use the W for the faster auto and for the movement speed to chase down. Okay, that was a bit of an oopsie, but I think you know what went wrong there. Is exhaust better than heal? Depends on the situation, but definitely can be. Especially on dueling ADCs. Make sure you always win your fights. Okay, so here, not much to do. Maybe you can choose a kill on Viego, but you don't want to get too close to this team. If you die here, they probably just end. So, even this is a little bit aggressive, at least positioning-wise. Let me check that again. Yeah, so here, I would always be positioned behind the Lawi. If Thresh just hooks directly onto you there, you probably die. Yasuo even has ult, so you just get immediately ulted and burst down there. Especially because you don't have ult. So if you're going to be fighting here, definitely always be behind the Lawi, so you have some protection from the skill shots. And you're also like unnecessarily close to Rel right now, while you're just going to be hitting, I guess, the Thresh Ghost. If you're hitting the Thresh Ghost, you can be perfectly just here, where you have the Lawi protecting you from the Thresh hooks, and you're like way far away from Rel to do anything. Misfortune can't touch you. The only potential risk is Yasuo, but I mean, you're going to be almost under turret there. And if you see him walking towards you, you can just back off there. But anyway, that goes fine. At that point, yeah, that's good to go on Misfortune there. Take her down while she's ignoring you for whatever reason. Okay, you probably joined in that a little bit too late. Could have been hitting Yasuo as soon as he came out of the GA. Just staying out of his range, making sure he can't E onto you. But that was pretty well played overall. I was thinking the Yasuo would dash up the minions, that is why I was on the side of Alawi. Yeah, but if he does that, you can sort of react to it, and like he doesn't immediately have Tornado ready there, I don't think. Whereas you also have the like Alawi to protect you, but where you were, like if you just get Thresh hooked, that's it, that's over. You're just dead immediately. You were just kind of lucky there that Thresh didn't aim for you. No need to use your moves there. Trying to use it to like get out of base or some shit, but you were literally like 2 steps away from the minions. It didn't really do much there. Yeah, at this point, what I would do is just farm Raptors and then farm the red buff as well. Like I said, yeah, good shit. These camps being up are doing no good to anybody. Kha'Zix can't farm them all anyway, so you grab that, grab the red. I would not go for golems here, although going for that wave is fine, I guess, yeah. Because at this point, if you were to farm mid, I mean, it's kind of fine, I guess, but, you know, you're kind of at risk. Could potentially get collapsed on there. Ideally, you want this wave to shove in, so you can farm it when you're going to be as safe as possible doing it. I don't know where the next wave is coming here, but this might be fine as well. Nah, this wave is too far away. At this point, I would just go mid. You can do the golems, though, to be fair, yeah. I wouldn't have rotated all the way over here just for the golems, but since you grabbed that wave first, yep, that's fine. You can just grab the golems on your way back to mid now. Definitely don't want to grab this wave though, for example, it's just too pushed up. I steal a tent there, but you got a little too close to the Yasuo compared to what was necessary. But yeah, at this point, I mean, you have your entire team grouped here. There's no point doing anything except just shoving out this wave as fast as possible. Then you're going to be able to rotate and help your team and whatever they might choose to do as soon as possible. Yeah, at the moment there's not much to do except just stick with your team. Okay, you're gonna be going for that Baron. I don't know why your jungler is going off to Drake. This is risky, but kind of fine, I guess. But yeah, now you have to back off. Okay, wait. You're way too riskily positioned for no reason there. Let me just recheck that. Yeah, so you have vision in this burst, so you know they're there. And I can see right now you're going for that shroom, but even this was already a pretty big fuck up because Thresh can just already like move up here and just try and hook you. At the very least, you would have to blow ult, maybe even flash, but he doesn't choose to punish that. But at this point, like I'm sure you can step through this part of the terrain, right? You could have just pathed like from here, you're just like as close to the wall as possible. If you'd done that, I don't think this tornado reaches you. You pathed like way too close to them. Also, first thing I would have done after getting out of the CC chain there is just immediately cast ult. Then you can flash like at the last like millisecond before the ultimate goes off, so you can reposition it and make it so Yasuo is like not able to react to your flash as much as possible. Alright, this is all good. Ends up in a winning fight anyway. At this point, there's no point pushing mid here. You can't push. Oh, actually, no, I see what you. Yeah, I forgot that turret was down. Yeah, I guess you can grab the inhib. Yeah, they're all dead. No harm in this. I'd probably just kill the mid wave first, even because you know you have plenty of time to farm both the wave and grab the inhib. So just get rid of the wave. Stop it hitting you. Your minions hurt. And grab that inhib, and yeah, your team grabs the Drake, so that's pretty good. Actually, yeah, I forgot Baron was up as well, actually. Actually, I'm not even sure you should have gone for a Drake there as opposed to just... Or gone for the inhib there as opposed to just grab Baron. Because now you definitely don't have time to do Baron before the rest of their team shows up and Viego's already up. Let's see, at this point... You're sitting on a lot of gold. 4,000. You definitely should have backed already. There's another time to be doing Baron. At this point, what you should be doing is backing immediately. Because if the enemy team just walks straight to Baron, you need to already be headed back towards there with your gold spent as soon as possible. But they don't react here in time, so you just get a free Baron here. But this really shouldn't have happened. That should not have been so free. I guess you're gonna be full bolt now. Yep. Also, I would do Navori with the Xayah build. Even if you don't have much crit, Navori still works amazingly. Because it just gives so much CDR. As well as crit, both work really well with Xayah. Even if you aren't proccing the passive too much, because you don't have too much crit with it, still such an amazing item for this style of Xayah build where you're so ability focused. Yeah, at this point, what you want to do is just go mid and push that out. Push out all the super minions. And then you can just look to rotate to bot or top. You don't want these minions pushing into your base for no reason. Wave is kind of getting sidetracked by the super minion, but that's fine. Yeah, so what I would do here is shove that out, and then they've only got one or two dead, but one is going to respawn pretty soon, so might not be able to end. But what I would do is just go bot. There's a wave already perfectly pushed up for you here. And there's a pretty big wave too, which with Baron buff is going to be like really huge. So that's at least one free turret for you, and then you can look to get the inhib turret with it as well. And in the meantime, because you shoved out this mid wave, you had the super minion wave coming in, which the enemy team has to respond to. I'm guessing based off of the game time that... No, you don't end here. No, so probably you're just going to be wasting your time here, I imagine. Because everybody is alive except for Teemo. There's not too much you can do here. Okay, you get a free kill for whatever reason. Shouldn't have been able to get away with that, but you do. I mean, you don't really. Because then you do drop and lose your GA. Doesn't positively though. Yeah, let's see. Do you get any turrets here? You do get one. I would just be hitting their team here though. Like this looks like a free ace to me, and if you ace them, then you do end for sure. Yeah. Now Yasuo's still alive. This results in your team not being able to end. But overall, I mean, the only reason this even worked as well as it did, and then resulting in both of their Nexus turrets going down, is because they just chose to walk up and fight you. And Viego just died under turret for no reason. But if they had just, like, completely defended, you would have been wasting your time a lot. And even it going as well as it did, your team still ends up getting aced or almost aced. Yeah, I'm guessing aced. And your entire Baron buff goes to waste, and a lot of the inhib duration is now, like, going to waste as well. Okay, do you end up aced? What the fuck? Nope, okay, not aced. But you're not ending either. Would have been a lot more freer to just go for this turret and push up this inhib and grab another inhib, then choose to rotate to top or grab that mountain soul, which now the enemy team is going to be able to secure. Well, not the soul, but they will get the Drake. Imagine. Oh, no, wait. This is your team. I'm trolling. No, you do get the mountain soul then. But you could be doing it with another inhib up. Or inhib down. Okay, Thresh really griefing there. Everybody just walks up and dies for no reason. See, with the amount of, like, just walking up and dying that the enemy team is making, a lot of, like, your indecisiveness is being more decisive than it really should be. Like, you do end up grabbing 2 Nexus turrets there for no reason. But it could be going even better if overall you would just be going for the correct macro movements. Now, yeah, I mean, at this point, they have no Nexus turrets. Now it's fairly fine to just go mid and end. But even with Baron, it's like kind of a waste of time to try and go for double Nexus turrets when you could just be going for more inhibs. It's a lot easier to defend with 2 Nexus turrets than it is to defend an extra inhibitor when you already have super minions pushing into your base. This is the kind of situation where if you do it, if you like push this and they all just die and you ace them, then sure, you can end. But if you don't end, then you're massively extending the game time compared to your other options. Yep. So I hope you were able to gain some information from that. Am I building correctly? I mean, obviously this is not the standard Xayah build by any means. Most people will tell you Lethality Xayah is pretty troll, but as far as I can tell, Lethality Xayah is actually quite underrated. Maybe as good as crit, maybe not. But if we're gonna assume that it is viable, then only criticism I would have is... I mean, I guess Yomu's third is fine. But definitely fourth at the very least, I would have done Navori instead of Yomu's. Sorry, Navori instead of Mortal Reminder. Even if you needed anti-heal, which honestly in this against this team you didn't. If anything, I would just tell my teammates to grab anti-heal, which they did already, so grabbing even more is a bit overkill. But if I did want anti-heal, I would just sit on the Executioners and just grab Navori, which as I said is amazing on Lethality Xayah, because you get so much more cooldowns. Then the GA was fine, and then I'll probably sell my Executioners and just grab Lord Dominic's maybe. Made the verbal call to try and end there. With the Nexus turret still up? Yeah, I mean, I disagreed with that. That was a situation where it was much better to go bot.